All right, good evening and welcome to the July 11, 2017 regularly scheduled Village Board meeting. Let the record reflect, please, it's 7:30. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Here.
Trustee Panito.
Yes. Here.
Trustee Berg.
Here.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Glotz.
Present.
Trustee Mangan.
Mr. Mangan. Here.
And President Vandenberg.
Here. Thank you. Item number 1, at this time, I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Yonker, second.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Mangan. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay. Motion carries. Item number 2, this time I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the special village board meeting and regular village board meeting held on June 20th, 2017.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Yonker,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Berg. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, this time I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the following consent agenda items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Yonker. Second?
Second.
Mr. Brady. Madam Clerk, would you please read these into the record, please?
Item A. Consider the following appointments for the 2017-2018 Plan Commission. Ken Shaw, Chair. Tim Stanton. Peter Croner. Eduardo Manny. John Curran. Lucas J. Engel. Angela M. Gatto. Bill Lemonnier. Garrett Gray. B. Consider ordinance number 2017-0-043, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of real estate in the Tinley Downs Addition subdivision from 7942 to 7950 172nd Street. Item C, consider ordinance number 2017-0-044, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of real estate in the John M. Rauhoff subdivision. D, consider resolution number 2017-R-037 regarding the appointment of the delegate and alternate delegate to the Intergovernmental Risk Management Agency, also known as IRMA. E, consider extending a contract with Rick Danden for building inspection services. F, consider request for a block party permit on Saturday, August 5th, 2017 on Shetland Drive between Turnberry Lane and Tayside Lane from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. G, consider request for a block party permit on Saturday, August 5th, 2017 on Castle Drive between 84th Avenue and 175th Street from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. H, consider request for a block party permit on Sunday, August 20th, 2017 on Lilac Lane between 8304 and 17646 from 12 o'clock noon to 10 o'clock p.m. I, consider request from Crisis Center for South Suburbia to conduct a raffle through August 8th, 2017 with the winner being drawn that day at Silver Lake Country Club. J, consider request from St. Coletta's of Illinois Foundation to conduct a raffle through November 30th, 2017, with the winner being drawn on December 1st, 2017 at St. Coletta's. Item K, consider request from Illinois Arborist Association to conduct a raffle on October 17th, 2017, with the winner being drawn that day at the Tinley Park Convention Center. And item L, payment of outstanding bills in the amount of $2,550,755.46 as listed on the vendor board approval reports dated June 23rd, June 30th, and July 7th, 2017.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any board members that would like to remove any of these items? The record reflect there are none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yea.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Item number 4, Trustee Glotz.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2017-0-033, approving text amendments to Section 2B and Section 9 sign regulations of the Tinley Park zoning ordinance pertaining to the regulation of signs within the village. This is up for adoption this evening.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Yonker. Go ahead, Mike.
This ordinance adopts the text amendments to Section 2 and Section 9 of the zoning ordinance. The proposed text amendments include, but are limited to, regulations for sign face area, sign height, quantity of signs, location of signs, sign materials, regulations for signage in the B5 zoning district, sign regulations for special areas and particular uses, temporary signs, non-conforming signs, and definitions for terms related to signage. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on May 4th, 2017, and unanimously recommended approval of the text amendment 7-0. The amendments were also discussed at the Community Development Committee on June 13th, 2017. The committee recommended approval of the text amendments with one change, and that was to approve option B for the multi-tenant sign panels for ground-mounted signs. The ordinance up for approval this evening reflects that change.
Thank you. Any discussion amongst the board?
I just had one question. Paul, the last time this one came up, you said that the colors, you know how the zoning committee voted 5-2 for D, and you said that wouldn't let them put trademark colors and that type of stuff on their signs? The multi-tenant sign
Right.
ordinance?
Right.
Yeah. Is it possible we could have the same color that they say, with the exception of trademarks or that type of thing, logos?
I think you'd find everybody will claim that it's, they can
claim
have their own
everything,
color in
yeah.
this. It's just the background color stays a consistent color. So if they had, if yellow was their trademark color, then that would be their font color.
Right,
Yeah, that's what
was
we
wondering
voted
if it
on
could be.
before.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
Yeah, Mike, Trustee Yunker and Trustee Brady voted for B. I wasn't at that meeting, so that's what they.
And I think it's a good idea, because if I'm coming down the way and I see a sign that has the McDonald's logo, I know where I'm going. I like the idea of monochromatic because it looks better, but it doesn't give me that clear, well, there it is, that's what I'm looking for. There's Starbucks, it's green. But I thought maybe we could
Well,
have
they
a
could,
hybrid.
McDonald's could have their yellow arch and a sign.
We'd know what it was when we saw it. Thank you.
Mr.
I think it's a good question, and obviously I know that the Plan Commission and the staff, they put a lot into back and forth on that. I mean, a lot of work, a lot of discussion. I know the committee discussed it a lot. I think what you're looking for, Trustee Panito, is I think you'd want to monitor that. And, you know, Paula and her staff, if there are businesses coming in and leaving because of that, I'm sure this board would want to know and maybe consider that at that time.
Sure.
I think that's what you'd want monitored. If people are saying, I'm not going to come into town, or I'm going to leave town because of this sign, I'm sure you'd want to know that.
Oh, yeah, and you want to sign people
could get a
could
variation.
recognize easily, too. So
Correct.
I get it.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if we could do both.
Just for clarification as well, that the committee is suggesting option B, which is on our screens this evening. And some would argue that that's probably less restrictive for business owners, right? Than what the
Yes, sir.
Plan Commission recommended. Any other comments or questions from the board? Any comments or questions from the public? Ma'am, please step forward.
My name is Deborah Vandenberg, and I have some questions. Last time at the first reading, Trustee Panito, you asked about grandfathering in. Do you know how that works? At the time when somebody's getting their occupancy permit, they are told that where this sign is, this is landscaping, and we've changed the zoning now, and it has to be mulch. And we haven't told the businesses that they have to rip out their landscaping stone and put mulch in. And they find the day before this new business wants to open their business, that they have to rip out the landscaping. Fortunately, if the owner is there, they'll be able to negotiate and say, can I have 2 weeks to get my landscaper here? So this new business can open. So now, instead, once you've got, I know you didn't send out notices to all the businesses. You send it out to anybody that lives near Brookside Glen, but the businesses didn't get notices that this was gonna be changed. So which businesses did get a letter saying that it was going to the Plan Commission, and then it was going to the committee? I heard about it by listening to the last board meeting that was being streamed, which, as you know, my husband came to. He left our house during the stream to come up here and say something about it. That's when business owners find out, if they happen to be interested in something else like Brookside Glen. How many businesses were at these meetings? How many businesses knew about it? Which one of the people on the committees, either Plan Commission or the committee, or even planning, who has a business like this in Tinley Park, who has a sign like this in Tinley Park? How many businesses did you ask about?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking everybody that was on here that voted to approve this.
We're talking about right now, just that portion of the zoning code, or the
I
question I had
understand.
that relates to signs and whether they should be monochromatic or have colors. I can't see, and I never phantom a problem with occupancy based on the color of the signage. If they're denying occupancy for new businesses until the sign meets that little bit of code, that's something we need to fix, because I don't think anybody wants to hold up businesses that are good for our village, quality businesses that are good for our village.
What I'm saying is, by the time they want occupancy, that sign would have already been ordered. And then the sign, then grandfathered in, they're not included for a new business. So if we hadn't heard about this, we wouldn't have known about it, because businesses don't get notifications. Not beforehand. And I can tell you, since your last board meeting for the first reading, my husband knows 7 other businesses that are afraid to come up here and say they're against it. And why? Possible repercussions? They don't have the fight he does, and they don't have the fight that I do for businesses to come to Tinley Park. And of all the things that Tinley Park is working on to get businesses to come to Tinley Park, or to stop them, or give them a bad impression right off the bat with Tinley Park, why would it be the sign?
I think what they're trying to do is make clear, unambiguous code so people know what they're gonna be trying to do when they get here. I don't think anybody's trying to hold up occupancy of businesses or slow down rentals of property. In fact, I think the objective is clarity, so that it'll be easier for people to know what they're gonna have to do when they get here. But I don't think this is the time or place for a discussion on this. If you want to, even though this isn't my committee and I'm just commenting on the color of sign.
I asked you
You know,
about it
like I
because
said-
you brought it up last meeting. And I realize my time is up in a few minutes, but few seconds, excuse me. But I didn't get the opportunity to bring this up before because I wasn't involved. I didn't get a notification like, how many of you guys are here for Brookside Glen? You got a notification? You heard about it? Did you get kicked off the Facebook page? So I didn't get the page about
So
it.
for the first time in my life, I get to tell my aunt that her time is up for speaking, so. Aunt
Yes,
Debbie,
I know.
to lighten the mood a little bit, that's my aunt.
Yes,
And
I
your 4
am.
minutes is up, and we are gonna follow our village ordinance. Thank you very much for your comment
I
this evening.
understand. You're
Thank you.
welcome. And by the way, because he is my nephew, he doesn't talk about this stuff, and I don't ask him.
Thank you.
I'd like to comment on, just to answer a little bit of what your aunt was speaking about. I was actually at that meeting. It was rather lengthy, and I was, I think, the only one there. I myself had the concern that it was too restrictive in regards to having it on the marquee and you only have the color of just the lettering and not the background. I think it's very restrictive. I said that back then. I think it is now, just for my 2 cents. It blows my mind away how much time they put into this sign thing when there was things like discrepancies on R5 versus R6 and whatnot, but whatever. But, I mean, in my opinion, you know, I think, you know, basically what your aunt was saying, you know, it's like the last thing you want to do is tick off businesses. It's so hard to get businesses to come to Tinley Park. And, you know, that was just one part of it, what I thought was an overly restrictive sign ordinance. So, I mean, I know you guys are all going to throw it through, but I just like to put on the record that I think it's too restrictive myself. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
I'd love to tell them it's less restrictive if you want me to.
Trustee Yonker.
No.
Too late now.
Trustee Panito.
We're allowing the color, right?
Option B on the sign, on the, can you go
Yes.
back to the
You put the
previous
picture
screen,
back
please?
up, Lauren?
Thank you. Option B.
Yes.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 5, Trustee Byrd.
I'd like to make a motion to consider awarding professional service agreement to Lakota Group for a business programming and marketing action plan for downtown Tinley Plaza.
Do we have a
Second.
second? Who was it moved by? Mr. Glatz? Thank you. Go ahead,
Second.
Cindy.
Part of the branding plan developed last year by Roger Brooks was a business programming and marketing plan for downtown Tinley Plaza. Brooks and Lakota submitted RFQs. The branding leadership team marketing subcommittee interviewed both firms. The staff recommendation is to hire Lakota Group. They have significant experience in downtown development in the Chicago area, including Homewood, Evanston, and Highland Park. Staff believes that they will bring a good mix of planning and marketing and plaza programming to the project. Lakota's cost is $79,965. The Brooks proposal is $85,000. The proposal includes opportunities for public input and also working with the village board and staff to synthesize in downtown planning efforts with the planning of the plaza. The study is expected to be completed in 3 to 5 months. I'd like to consider awarding professional service agreement to Lakota Group.
Thank you, Cindy. Any comments or questions from the board at all? This was discussed in our previous committee meeting. Comments? Any comments or questions from the public?
All right, well, I'm going to revise and extend from, you know, what was going on at the committee of the whole. I can't believe that the fountain is being included in this. First of all, I want to do my long-standing, I can't stand when we get consultants to boot, but I get you guys are always going to get them. So I don't know if the boat's just going to always be that way, but specifically, though, on the fountain, I don't understand why you can't keep the existing plaza, you know, what they call Zabraki Plaza now, intact. And if you want to look at this using North Street for like this 250 event a year thing, or the old Central Middle High School, or South Street, fine. But I don't understand why you're including in that part. And I certainly hope that they're not considering bulldozing the park or trying to go and rip up the whole Metro lot and move it somewhere else. I mean, I really think I think that whole Metro thing and what Zabraki Plaza is now should be completely off limits in this proposal. You know, I don't understand why we can't just go ahead, put out a request for proposal to get a fountain, find the best design, and put it in. You know, because now you're going to delay any potential getting the fountain by 5 months, and then, you know, like every other friggin' consultant thing here, you know, then you're going to have to wait more and more, and who knows when you're ever going to get one. I am absolutely sick and tired of this government by consultancy. It's just ridiculous. I think this is my 33rd straight meeting. I've lost track, but it's about that. And I've lost track of how many consultants, but I think we're at 9 or 10 in that time frame. I don't understand, you know, you have all these people that work for you that you can't develop these plans on your own. You got an engineer now, you got all these other people working for you. So I just want on the record that I disapprove using this, and I certainly disapprove, you know, excluding out the part where the plaza is now. The plaza where it is, Zabraki Plaza, which I like to call Citizens Plaza, but whatever, should be kept the same way it is. Rebuild the fountain. Don't wait. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I believe in one of the previous meetings that Kevin Workowski says that there might not be enough money in the budget for a new fountain. and they were gonna possibly talk to,
Brad.
business owners.
Village,
to
village,
donate
village
some
staff
money?
is meeting with the fountain people in the next week or so, and they're still continuing to work on it, and also the financing part, so.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to
correct.
clarify that, because I don't think a lot of people know that it's not a dead issue, it's gonna happen, but there's not enough money in the budget, correct?
It would have been discussed at the Public Works meeting earlier tonight, but with the holiday and stuff, they couldn't get the meeting, but I believe it's scheduled within the next 2 weeks.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome. Any other comments from the public regarding this item? Let the record reflect there are none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Alker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes, but I just want to add, my plan doesn't,
Mike, this is the vote. Your time for discussion was before the public comment.
yes,
Thank you.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 6, Trustee Burke.
I'd like to make a motion to consider resolution number 2017R-039, approving and recommending a 4-year, 50% property tax abatement for the property located at 8451 West 183rd Street, Surface Shield.
We have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Yonker. Go ahead, Cindy.
This resolution provides support for a 4-year, 50% property tax abatement of the village's portion only. The Tinley Park incentive policy allows for a Will County property tax abatement for projects that meet Will County Center for Economic Development criteria. This project meets the goals and objectives for encouraging redevelopment in Tinley Park as set forth by the Economic and Commercial Commission and the Village Board of Trustees in previous meetings. This resolution was also recommended for approval by the Economic Development and Marketing Committee at their June 27, 2017 committee meeting and will be reviewed by the Economic Commercial Commission at their July 10, 2017 meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Comments or questions from the public regarding item number 6? Let the record reflect there are none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Alker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
yes,
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 7, Trustee Mangan.
I'd like to make a motion to consider awarding professional service agreement to Mizero Insurance Services for health insurance broker services.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Glatz. Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
The village recently did a request for qualification for a new health insurance broker. The village last did this in 2014 and selected Hallberg Insurance. The village would like to take the health insurance program to the next level and has interviewed 5 brokerage firms. The following is included: improved employee communication, new non-traditional ideas on health insurance plans that will assist the village to better manage costs, familiarity with the rapidly changing health insurance laws and markets, robust employee wellness plan, and a firm that is in a position to be able to institute and properly communicate a new plan for the upcoming October 1st plan year to our employees. The other benefit I'd like to say here is that it's saving the village on an annual cost of $50,000 per year. Yeah. The flat fee is $42,000 per year for the first 2 years, total $84,000, and the third year of it basically is based on CPI. So I'd like to consider awarding a professional service agreement to Mizero Services for the health insurance broker.
Thank you, Mike, and thanks for all your hard work on this as well as staff. I know you guys had a tight schedule to get this done. Any other comments or questions from the board? Comments or questions from the public? Sir, please step forward.
First of all, congratulations to all of you being appointed to your new positions. My name is Michael Brown. I'm a 28-year veteran police officer of the Village of Tinley Park. I'm not aware of most of you here. Recently, I was injured in 2014. I snapped my Achilles tendon. I have now been declared catastrophically disabled. Under the village ordinance that stood prior to September of 2016, the officers were allowed to keep their health insurance under PSEBA, and the village would pay the insurance under state and federal law. 2016, unbeknownst to me and the only other officer that this is covering, the village without notification, and it's none of you people, passed local ordinance 2016-0054. In that ordinance, which is 2 years after I was injured, 6 years after the other officer that was injured on the job as well, the other village board passed this without notification and is now making myself, his family, taking away benefits that were promised to me before I got hurt. And I would address this board to allow us to keep our health coverage that was promised to us prior to this ordinance.
Thank you very much
That's
for
all.
your comments. Yes, ma'am.
You know, the officer made a good point. I'm disabled, and I think maybe before you pass this insurance thing, maybe you should ask your employees. Maybe they can have input of what is going to, how it's going to affect them. I'm just thinking about it, you know, so.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, just a reminder that this has nothing to do with the police insurance. That's all done through contract. This is for a health insurance broker. That's what you're voting on tonight. Someone who's going to go out and procure you quotes for your new insurance and things like that. So
And
just
communication
a
to staff and
Yeah.
everything else.
And for that matter, village staff was a part of the interview process with these firms, so the employees were thought of, obviously. Any other questions or comments from the public regarding item 7? Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item number 8, Trustee Mangan.
I'd like to make a motion to consider authorizing an engagement letter with PKD LLP to conduct a fraud risk assessment for the village of Tinley Park.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Panito. Go ahead, Mike.
The village recently sent out an RFQ for a fraud risk assessment. 6 firms submitted proposals, and BKD LLP was rated the most qualified firm. BKD LLP will evaluate current fraud prevention processes and procedures, provide guidance on methods to reduce risk, and issue a report of financial risk and identifying areas most vulnerable to fraud, along with recommendations. The fee will be $45,000 plus a 4% administrative fee. Basically, I think the key element to this is the first time the village has done this. I think our process that we went through was very, I think, thorough, in the fact that when we went through it with all these companies, our scope is going to be very thorough. I think it's an opportunity to look at the processes that go on day to day with our staff. I think this is a real positive thing for the village going forward. So I'd like to consider approval. The engagement letter is in its final state. It's with the attorney. Everything else that's basically been agreed to, the engagement letter is more from a legal standpoint, but I would like to get an approval to move forward with it if I can.
Thanks, Mike. Any comments or questions from the board?
Just like to say it's a long time coming. It's a good first step. I'm looking forward to having some controls on different things, so there'll be, there won't be documents that get lost and that type of thing. We'll have a way to have checks on that type of thing, that it's done in a responsible person.
And this is an independent
Thanks for all your
view.
effort.
I want to be clear, too, the independency and the fact that I'm managing it. It will not be done by staff. The fraud, scope is basically being done from an independent view.
Any other comments or questions? Any comments or questions from the public about item 8? Let the record reflect there are none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item number 9. At this time, I'd ask the board for a motion to consider adopting ordinance number 2017-0-045, amending title of the section, for an addition of 1 Class EV liquor video license for the location at 7101 183rd. Ask for a motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Yonker,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Berg. I believe this was presented to the committee last week. Our petitioners this evening are Fratello's Deli and Catering, again at the above address 7101 183rd Street, is proposing to operate a delicatessen with a grocery store. Video gaming for this establishment is permitted, subject to agreed upon conditions that no video gaming signage be placed in the premises that was discussed at your committee. This license would be for alcohol and for the gaming aspect. There was a pretty thorough conversation at the committee level, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Are there any comments or questions from the board at all?
I'd just like to say one, go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna do
Go ahead.
There's two companion ordinances here, different businesses. Generally speaking, I'm not a fan of gambling. I don't like to see it proliferating in our community. This first license, I'm against. The second one, I'm for. And here I feel is an opportunity to use these machines as a tool to take a building that's been vacant for 3 years and get a business in there. So if you're listening to our votes and wondering why he voted against one and for the other, the first building is a deli. We have a couple delis in town. It's a building that hasn't been vacant that long. I don't think there's an urgent need to lower my, threshold for what gambling requires. Unlike the other building, San Fratello's, which has been vacant for about 3 years, it's a huge space. It could be vacant forever. For that business, I am going to put aside my, not liking gambling and allow it in that business to get that business up and running. Just wanted to make that clear.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Any other comments or questions from the
Yeah,
board?
I had the opportunity at committee to talk to the individuals that are bringing this in front of us, and one of the things that I wanted to see was just basically what this establishment looked like and how it was laid out. So I want to be clear that I had the opportunity to look at that. They did get us the information.
If I could just do it, I hope that they do come to town in that location with this business. I just don't think gambling should come with it.
Well, they assured us that it would be in the back and not near any families. Also, this is down the street from my house, and I'm excited about going there. I can walk there.
I like to add, just moving forward, I'd like to see the village put a cap on the number of video gaming license we keep approving, so that the total number of license does not increase. My recommendation is we limit the only way to get a new video gaming license is if an existing video license is released or eliminated. This will make sure that we don't see video gaming increasing all through Tinley Park. But I also would like to add, the trustee Panito said, as much as I'm against gaming, I don't want to see the space on the next item agenda sit vacant. It's been vacant for 3 years, so I guess we'll discuss that at the next item, but.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Any comments or questions from the public regarding item number 9? Let the record reflect there are none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Alker. Yay. Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Wait, no.
Sorry, wait a second.
Okay, amended to
It's a
nay.
no.
That's a no.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
No.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 10. Again, same petitioner for Fratello's Deli and Catering. It's already been alluded to. This time I'd ask for a motion to consider adopting ordinance number 2017-0-046, allowing for addition of one Class AV liquor video license.
So
For
moved.
the said address at 17823 80th Avenue, also known as the old San Fratello's. It was moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you. Again, our petitioners have requested they are going to be operating or proposing to operate a full-service restaurant at the old San Fratello's. As both trustees already mentioned, they have requested video gaming for this establishment. It should be noted that the previous tenant there, San Fratello's, did have a liquor license, same liquor license, and as well as had video gaming there as well. This was also discussed extensively in committee last week. I believe that the commissioner or committee members had an opportunity to ask questions to our petitioner, as well as level their comforts with it. So I turn it over. If there's any other questions or comments from the board, please feel free to speak up.
I just like to add, the only reason for this property, I'd be willing to change my opinion on gaming is, like trustee Panito said, it's sit vacant for 3 years now. There's been major fire damage, which part of the gaming is gonna help pay for that. Without that, they're not gonna be able to open that restaurant, and I think they have, does anyone know, is it four units or 5 units, I believe? 6?
Well,
Someone say-
Talking the storefronts?
Yeah, all right, so.
Yeah, there's a petitioner right there.
Okay, thank you. So for 6 units that are gonna sit vacant, I'd be afraid that to let it sit any longer. That'd be the only reason I would be for it.
Thank you, Mike. Any other comments or questions? I'd like to begin this really quick. The mayor's office as liquor commissioner, we field these requests constantly. Today, we had multiple requests. I think it's important that the public understand that the monies that are generated and the revenues generated that are earmarked for the Village of Tinley Park are earmarked for special reasons. Last Saturday, just went to Music in the Plaza, huge event, a lot of residents showing up there. It was a great band. Those events are sponsored, they have sponsors, but they're not gonna cover all the cost. A lot of these monies are gonna be earmarked for these events, free events to our residents. Part of this as well, we're gonna be taking these monies and generating and putting them into certain buckets that would be utilized for our branding efforts and really trying to stimulate a lot of our interaction and entertainment in our downtown area. So it's a big, a lot of people don't like them, I being one of them, but we need to understand the business aspect of it as well. So I hope that this is the beginning stages of making sure that dialogue continues going forward, because I'm sure that's something that a lot of the people in this room weren't aware of. So, any other comments from the public regarding this item?
The only thing I would like you guys to think about is putting in, they have to earn so much as a percent of sales on their real business. Because eventually, we're gonna have these dumpy little buildings with the gaming with nothing really else they're offering, because they're making more money on the gaming.
There's state statute on that, but I'm pretty sure the council would be able to.
Well, I believe we did. I think this board, I believe you guys passed an ordinance, and unless I'm losing my mind up here, I believe you specifically banned those types of video gaming cafes, that's where their sole revenue would be, so I don't.
We did put a moratorium on that, and they are capped, I believe, if I get my notes correct here. There's 5 total EV licenses that are specified for gaming parlors only, where their primary revenue source is only gaming. There's other village requirements that we have in place for these gaming machines to qualify. You need to have, I believe it's over 2,000 square feet of space, as well as a food menu as well. So, I mean, we're really trying to target the restaurants. Business owners are scratching for every nickel they can to make ends meet, and it is another form of entertainment, believe it or not. So it's an extremely controversial issue that this board is certainly vetting all the time, and it's good to have so many comments and opinions from the board members as well as the public. So just as these things keep coming to the village mayor, I'll keep bringing them to the village board for their approvals or denials.
Is it possible to wall these things off?
They have to.
So when you walk into the restaurant, you don't see a knee-high wall where you're seeing all this stuff?
There is a state statute when it comes to the gaming. I actually read a little bit about it today. Some of the facilities that are under 21 entry, so for instance, a restaurant that doesn't have a 21 and older to get in, they are required to barrier it of some sort, but they do have definitions to that. The state does, of course, and some of those definitions are going to be partitions, knee-high walls, even as little as a rope line. So these are things that are governed by the state, the state legislator. I can tell you that for the majority of the ones that have come before this board, most of them are separate rooms. In particular, the item number 9, they are walling that off from the schematics they've entered to the village so far.
How many stores have gaming?
Luckily for me, my administrative
Have you
assistant
guys
was able.
considered doing the STEP program that Dean mentioned a couple times, where If you have one machine, it's 1,000, two machine, it's 2,000 for the fees per year, bring in more money that way to the village.
We have not at this point looked at any further
I think we should.
reclassifications.
If they
It's
want
not
them, they
a
can
bad
pay
idea.
for them. They're getting more money than we're getting. So I'd appreciate it.
You're welcome. There was a question asked, so there are 795 businesses in Tinley Park, and there's a total number of liquor licenses of 77, and out of those, there's only 27 video gaming licenses. So that's the most current analysis that staff was able to provide me with today. Any other comments or questions from the public regarding number 10? Let the record reflect there are none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Call the roll.
Trustee Yoker.
Yay.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes, yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
501 and absent.
Motion carries, yes.
Motion carries, thank you. Item number 11. Before this goes any further this evening, as I've stated in the past, I will read a full disclosure to the public, and I will also submit this to the village clerk for the village minutes. This is the identical disclosure that was read at the May 18, 2017 Plan Commission, which was read by Chairman Ed Matushik. So this is titled to the Village Board and Village of Tinley Park. It's been come to my attention that certain social media sites have alleged that I have some sort of interest in the residences at Brookside Glen, which is before us this evening. I want to be clear that this information is patently false. First, I have no interest in this property or project whatsoever. That includes financial or otherwise as defined by the Tinley Park Village Code or any other ethics statute that I'm aware of. My uncle, who is my father's brother, is the owner of the property in question. I want to reiterate that I personally am not involved, nor do I have any interest in this endeavor or any other company or endeavors that my uncle Scott Bannerberg is involved in. Moreover, I have never and will never use my position either as trustee or mayor to advocate for or against this project or any other project that a family member may be involved in. I hope this information helps you with the analysis of the project, like all others before you, in accordance with the zoning code of Tinley Park and all the state and federal laws. This was signed by myself, Jacob C. Vandenberg, Mayor of Tinley Park, on May 18th, and I re-signed it again today, July 11, 2017. And I'm going to turn this over to the clerk so she can enter that into the minutes. And at this time, seeing that I am recuse myself from all interactions with this, I would turn it over to President Pro Tem Brian Yonker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 14, Trustee Glatz.
Pardon me, it's number 11.
Number 11, I'm sorry.
Consider ordinance number 2017-0-047, granting a special use for a substantial deviation of the Brookside Glen Plan Unit development to allow 2 residential structures with 72 dwelling units per structure, a clubhouse with outdoor swimming pool, and associated residential amenities with site plan approval.
Prior to making a motion on this, I believe it's prudent to allow some discussion due to the petitioner being here, as well as the large number of residents.
Prior to making a motion on this, I believe it's prudent to allow some discussion due to the petitioner being here, as well as a large number of residents that have come out tonight. However, we are not going to recreate a public hearing. We are provided with a complete record and are aware of the testimony at the public hearing, as well as the Plan Commission findings and recommendations. Petitioner, if you would like to address the board, I will allow you to make a brief statement. I also believe there is a citizen group that represented the objectors during the public hearing. If a representative from that group would like to address the board, I will allow for a brief comment on as well. Everyone will still have their 4 minutes to address the board during public comment. With that, would the petitioners like to address the board? Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Andrea Crowley with the law firm of Griffin and Gallagher. I'm sorry? Oh, they can't. Sorry, I'm hearing that they can't hear me from behind me. So I'll start again. My name is Andrea Crowley. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Griffin and Gallagher. I'm here with, our complete team is here tonight. The developer, Carly Mayer, our landscape architect from Erickson is here. Steve Gregory, Scott Shelvis, our architect, is here. And we also have Tracy Cross, who does market studies and is actually the preeminent market study person for lenders. I will start I'm going to be very brief because I know that there's an extensive record on this. We've been to a lot of meetings and spent a lot of time hashing this out. So just a quick history. In 1990, this parcel, which is about approximately 7 2/3 acres, came into the village of Tinley Park with the Brookside Glen Plan Unit development. At that time, it was pegged as a multifamily parcel. In 2000, pursuant to Ordinance 2000-0-006, the density on this site of 144 units was approved. When you take, there's been some question along the way as to whether that ordinance is clear or not. We believe it's unambiguous, taken in consideration with the site plan that was simultaneously approved, signed by the village, all of the minutes, all of the staff reports, the building permits, and the 208 occupancy permits that were issued in conformance with this density. So the density is not in question. We're not here asking for density. We're merely here asking for site plan. We came into this village over a year ago with 8 buildings of 18. At the direction of staff and with their guidance, we've come to this project. We've reduced the number of buildings to 2. We've kept the density, but we've added millions of dollars of amenities and over 4 acres of green space to make this a better project than we walked in the door with last year. Staff guided this project, staff directed us. We appreciate their input. We really want to thank them. They did a fantastic job. We think it's a beautiful project with long-lasting value for Tinley. It's certainly a better project thanks to their input. The original ordinance had 9 buildings of 16 units on this site for 144 units. There would be half of the green space and no amenities with that project. We're here tonight asking for your vote because we think this is a great project. We think it's the best project for this site. We think staff did a great job. We think our team did a great job. We think it will provide lasting value. And we're asking for your vote, but we also want to be clear that we are not a contract purchaser. And this site, if you don't want this project, we understand. That's the board's job. But you also probably see in your packet the 9 building layout that was part of the 2000 ordinance. And if you don't want the project that we have in front of you tonight with the open space and the amenities, we'll likely vote no, and we understand that. And we'll probably come back with the 9 buildings, but it will be a lesser project and it will be an inferior project because it won't have the amenities and the green space, but it will be in complete conformance. We'll be asking for nothing. So I want to thank you. If there's any questions from the board, we're all here. We really do appreciate your time, and we want to thank the village. We want to thank the staff. We think your professional staff negotiated greatly on your behalf. They certainly extracted a lot from us and had us put millions of dollars more than we wanted into the amenities. We think it's better for it. So we want to thank them, and we think that they did a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thanks. Does the citizen group have a representative that would like to speak for him?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Hi, my name is Michael Mueller, and I'm a representative of the United Against Brookside Glen Apartments. For those of you in the audience that are part of this group, please raise your hand now. I'm going to keep this extremely short. We made our points on the record at the Plan Commission meeting a couple of weeks ago. Our first point is the sheer bulk of these buildings will change the character of this neighborhood. A substantial deviation is not allowed to be approved if it's going to substantially change the character of the neighborhood. Second, a substantial deviation cannot be granted to increase the revenue of the property. Third, a substantial deviation cannot be granted if it's negatively going to impact property values. The Tracy Cross report provided by this petitioner proves that it will. That's all I really had for you guys today. I wanted to make sure that you guys consider each of our concerns as you make your decision, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to accept the recommendation of the Plan Commission that based on the evidence presented, the submitted project failed to meet the standards for the granting of a substantial deviation from a PUD.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay,
Motion second.
Trustee Yonker, if I could, just
Sure.
so everybody understands what they're voting on. This is for first read. Sorry, hold on, I'm getting there, sorry. Just so what everybody understands what they're voting on, the motion was made to accept the recommendation of the Plan Commission and essentially deny this project. As is, this would be a failure here at first reading. It would not come back to you. This would be the vote on this project. Just want to make sure, because I know it's written in the affirmative on the agenda, but the motion was made to accept the Plan Commission's recommendation and essentially deny the project. Just want to make sure everyone's clear. There's no other discussion.
Madam Clerk, could you call roll, please?
Trustee Alpert.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
I'm not sure. Are we yes or no?
A yes? Yeah, sorry. I guess I didn't explain it all that well after all.
No.
The motion made by trustee Glotz and seconded is to accept the Plan Commission's recommendation and to deny what was accepted.
Yes.
So a vote in the affirmative accepts that recommendation.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 12. Receive comments from the board and staff. I only have one reminder, and that is for Sunday, July 16th from 12 to 7 p.m. I hope that everyone can come out and celebrate the downtown Tinley Park Block Party. It's an extremely special year this year. Tinley Park celebrating 125 years as a organized community. Pardon me, I'll wait till we're quiet. Sunday, July 16th, noon to 7 p.m., the downtown Tinley Park Block Party, also known as the Caribbean Block Party. This year, we're celebrating our 125th year of being a village. There's going to be a numerous amount of musical performances. It's all on the website. And probably the Facebook page for that matter. So I direct your attention to that. It's a great event. A lot of staff time and effort was put into it, and just like to commend them for all their hard work, as well as Public Works and staff, because they have a lot of setup and whatnot, and they're working and not enjoying. So just an early round of applause for them. And that's all I have. Any other comments from the board?
Yeah, I'd like to, Jake. Sure. We have a special girl in our town. Her name is Kiara. She is the daughter of Liam, who is a Tinley Park fireman, and she did a lemonade. She had a lemonade stand and raised money for Tinley Wish, which is raised over $1 million for our own residents, and she raised $1,570. For Tinley Wish, and I just want to tell her thank you. I don't want to call her out, but her grandmother is in the crowd, so we'll just leave it at that. So thank you very much.
Any other comments from the board?
I'd like to say something. I see that the petitioners have left. This is a quality town with quality people. I know they're going to be coming back with another plan. I just hope that plan takes into account the needs and desires of this community, appreciates our great location, our great parks, I think our great schools, and I understand all the letters and emails I've gotten about Lincoln Way. That's a whole nother issue. But that fits our community. We're a village, we're not a city. We're not looking for high rises, we're looking for things that fit the character of this town. I'd ask that they take that into account.
Any other comments from the board or staff?
Jay, can I add something to that, please?
Certainly.
I also like to thank, it's moments like this, which makes it great to be a resident of Tinley and be part of the staff now. I'd like to thank Clerk Therian, who was there for the fundraiser. I'd also like to thank Chief Reeder, our fire chief. I'd like to thank Chief Steve Klotz, who's our deputy fire chief, also for being there, and the founder of Tinley Wish, who's raised over $1 million and started this program 20 years ago with a friend of his, Dennis Mahoney. Oh, thank you.
Anything else, Mike?
I'm good.
All right, very good. At this time, item number 13 will receive comments from the public. Please step forward.
Do we just step up?
That's it.
Okay. My name's Steve Reed, and I'm a resident of Brookside Glen. And first off, I'm happy that you guys voted not to approve this proposal. I'd just like to give you sort of a perspective of what it's like to live in Brookside Glen. I know a lot of times it seems like in the past 12 years, this neighborhood's come out and always had to fight people about stuff. And there's a lot of people that really have nasty things to say about us, like we don't want anything in our backyard, we don't want the certain kind of people in that neighborhood. And that's not true. It's very expensive to live there right now. The state is corrupt and bankrupt. Our school district is $35 million in debt due to mishandling and corruption that we all know happened. And now we have a petitioner that comes in and wants to build a building that is out of context for the neighborhood because they say that they want to have people come in and live that want to live, I guess like the downtown lifestyle. You know, you have an apartment and you can go and just walk straight over to the fun and everything. This neighborhood doesn't have that. You have to walk down 191st Street to get to Target. Nobody's going to pay a lot of money to do that. The petitioner will get paid either by people that rent those places or whoever buys it and turns it into Section 8. And in the meantime, the neighborhood that lives there stands to lose everything because we're paying all the taxes we can. We're struggling very hard to keep our families intact and to keep our finances in line. And people continue to come along, and it seems to me like they're sniffing out blood and looking for a way to make money no matter what. And we would really appreciate it if you continue to do what you're doing and to keep the neighborhood in mind and the character of the neighborhood in mind and the families in mind, because we're looking for the future, not just for today. And if something like this happens in this neighborhood, the gamble is really only for us. And what will happen is that neighborhood will empty out, it will collapse, and there will be no more money left. It can happen. Lots of my neighbors are putting their houses up for sale. Everybody wants to leave Illinois, and they especially want to leave here right now because we're all afraid of what could happen if somebody makes the wrong move. What she just said is we gave you guys a real good idea, a real good plan, and if you don't like it, we're coming back with a garbagey one. That's the kind of people we're hoping you guys, please, don't just let come into our neighborhood and do what they want with us and pick our bones. Thank you.
Can I go?
Yes.
Good evening, Katie Campbell, Brookside Glen resident. I wanted to thank all my neighbors for the hard work. Thank the board up here. When I hear what she says, it makes me nervous. I feel like we won the battle, but not the war. I just had a question about what's next. You know, do they just get to come in and do whatever they want, or does this village still have a say?
If I can answer that one, I don't know what they're gonna submit, so I can't sit
She
up.
pretty much told us it's gonna be a dump.
Well, but density.
They were gonna give us
I
$1
understand.
million place.
I understand.
Yeah.
They have an argument. They have, there were ordinances that were passed before that we are looking at. I'm not going to sit up here and, I don't know what they're gonna submit. I don't know if they're gonna submit it. I know I heard her say it, but until I see something, I can't really comment on it. I hope you understand that. But, there are ordinances out there that granted them certain things that we are going to have to deal with.
Okay.
I don't know what they're gonna submit. It's going to be looked at and reviewed. I can tell you that.
Okay. Well, I just hope that we keep pushing for the right thing, because Tinley's a great place to live, and I, you know, hate to have to border jump, I guess. I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank Kristen Therion for getting us this venue tonight that was large enough for everyone that wanted to speak. I'm actually very proud of everyone at BSG that came up and exercised their First Amendment rights to speech and assembly, and they were heard. And congratulations, Zor, to all of you. You know, I've been coming to these meetings for a while, but it's good to see people come out and fight for what they believe in, and I think it's great. Real quick, in regards to what they're going to come back with, they're going to come back with probably what the code is. So go back and read what is in that PUD. So and then stay on them, and if you want to try and resolve things in regards to R5 versus R6, or keep fighting the fight, guys. But they're gonna probably look at that code exactly what it is and show something that's gonna be exactly in line with it. So go back and reread it. Other than that, like I said, I just think I hope you guys continue to stay engaged in Tinley Park government. I don't recall seeing a lot of you guys before in some of the other fights we had. So please keep coming to the meetings, keep reading the agendas, keep going to some of the smaller meetings, the ones that are not the village board meetings. You'll find a lot of these things, ahead of time. So I encourage you to keep your civic participation up. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Judy Janney, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mike Klotz for helping me solve a problem. Not only did he come out almost immediately, he was there within the hour. He got everybody on board, including the village engineer and the code, whatever, Ken
Enforcement.
Kornowski. And so I appreciate all his help, because he really stayed on top of things, and it's nice to know we have somebody that really works for the people.
My pleasure. You can. Judy,
hi.
1 second. Can I, Judy, I'd like you, who was very helpful to me sitting at the table is Kevin. He's our Public Works Director. I've been in constant contact with him. He's been the main guy helping me through all this.
Yeah, hi, my name is Helen Ricks, and my husband and I just moved to Tinley last year. And we liked the neighborhood and everything, and I liked where we're located at. And I was so glad when you didn't approve the amendment for the buildings to go up, because it would take away my view. And but anyway, we love it here, and we tend to stay here. And I can understand your concerns about moving an apartment building across the street, because you never know who you're going to get. So I thank God for it, and I thank God for the area, and I just thank you guys for fighting for it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Deborah Hunter. I'm president and owner of HSR Property Services in Tinley Park. We manage about 4,700 multifamily units. We also manage Brookside Glen Townhomes, Phase 1 and 2, and we also manage Brookside East. I happen to reside in one of the single-family homes there for about 15 years now. My biggest issue was the feasibility study that was done by Tracy Cross. I don't know why they didn't use a licensed appraiser for that study. It was flawed. The comps that they used in Orland Park, the luxury comps that they used, one of them was a $65 million development that was funded primarily by Orland Park, tax incentives and a loan, actually, about $62 million. It never was going to work. They will come back, I know, with something along the lines of more affordable housing. It's my professional opinion that that site is not going to be able to support more than 60 or 70 units of affordable housing. I would ask, when they do come back, to see something that's prepared by a licensed appraiser and not by Tracy Cross. Thank you.
Oh, that was Jim Capella, Brookside Glen. First of all, I just wanted to thank everybody for keeping an open mind, listening to the public, and maybe most importantly, responding to the public. I know that a number of you received maybe a few emails or letters, and it may have seemed overwhelming, But, and thank you all for participating in that. I know my daughter sent everybody an email, and most of you responded. So that's great leadership to show children exactly what the village is about. So thank you for that. And just an idea, this thing could go back and forth a number of times. We all know that. And I'm just wondering, I know we can't force anything, but I'm just wondering if maybe a sounding board of members of the community to work with the people that are developing it might help, create more dialogue and work together on this. We want something there. We just want something that fits in with the community. So, just something to think about.
This is Mike Mueller again. Just wanted to thank you guys for making the correct decision here tonight, and I just want to call out a couple special thank yous to Mr. Brady, Mr. Glotz, and Mr. Pinito for working with my wife and myself, hearing our phone calls, taking our emails, answering our questions, and really making sure that this community works with you guys to make the right decision. So I applaud you guys for your decision, and I thank you again.
Hello, Dina Karch. Quick question that kind of came up while you were talking about the video gaming licenses and talking about putting a cap on those. Could the board legally pass an ordinance, ban something, I don't know what the right word would be, to put a cap on the number of apartment buildings or apartment complexes that we have currently?
No.
No?
No. Unequivocally, no.
No?
No.
Why is, I mean,
Yeah.
like where I came from, like where I lived in South Holland, I don't know if anybody's familiar with that area, the village had a ban on all multiple family dwelling.
Yeah, that's not legal. You can't ban a legal use solely from your village. You just can't do it. There's things to look at zoning, and I'm not going to go much more into that. But if you're asking if it's legal to fully ban multifamily apartment buildings from any town, my response would be no. That's not legal.
Okay.
I don't know. That's my response.
Yeah.
No, I haven't researched it, but everything I know about zoning law and fair housing laws would say no.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Rick Bruno. I'm a retired member of the Tinley Park Police Department. I did not come here tonight to talk about any of the items on the agenda, nor about any of the matters my fellow citizens have brought up, important as they are. I only came here to ask you to remember, or at least to listen for a moment, of the actions of a very brave man. His name was Tinley Park Police Officer Louis F. Jogman. He was my friend. I'm here tonight because tomorrow is the 40th anniversary of this incident. At about 10 p.m. on that night, he was dispatched to the 7-Eleven store at 159th Place and 76th Avenue because of a report that something was happening inside the store. Lou was the first officer on the scene. He parked his car and drew his revolver and approached the store. Backup units were minutes away. Suddenly, an armed male white subject exited the front of the store holding a terrified woman as a hostage. The subject told Lou he would kill her if Lou did not lay down his gun. Lou tried to reason with the subject, who only became more irate and more threatening. So Lou put down his gun. The subject released the woman, grabbed Lou's revolver, and placed Lou face down in the parking lot. Then he handcuffed Lou and climbed on top of him. The subject then jabbed him in the head with the gun, asking him if he had a family, and telling him he would never see them again. Lou told the subject he had a family and a new baby. By this time, backup units had arrived. Another officer told the subject to release Lou, but the subject responded by pointing the gun at him and threatening to kill Lou. At that point, the subject shot Lou in the head. A second backup officer had positioned himself behind the subject, and he returned fire, striking the subject in the neck. Lou was not expected to survive until the ambulance arrived. Then he was not expected to be alive when he got to the hospital. He was not expected to survive the emergency brain surgery, or the other 8 surgeries and months he spent in a coma, but he did. I can tell you that Lou Jagman was a very brave and selfless man. To me, he always personified the term in the line of duty. He died of cancer about 6 years later. In my 33 years with the police department, whenever I trained new officers, I taught them about this incident. Inevitably, we would talk about what our other options Lou might have chosen that night. That's what you do when you train. But none of us were there that night. Lou was there that night, and it was his choice to surrender his weapon to save the woman. I never heard him say he would do otherwise, and I never heard him say he regretted putting himself in danger to save someone else. There's a Park District playground named after Lou, and a training room in the police station is named after him, and it has a very nice plaque with Lou's picture on it. And those are fine and fitting, but they do not tell us what he did. I hope I've done that tonight. There's an old saying that a person is never truly gone as long as his name is spoken. All I ask tonight is that you remember my friend, Officer Lou Jagman, and what he did 40 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Bruno, for sharing that with the congregation this evening. Any other comments from the public? It's a tough way to end, so. Hey, you've already spoken, sir. Thank you. All right, item number 14, the manager has told us this evening there will not be an executive session, so we're not going to go into closed session at this point. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Have a good night, everyone. Drive safely.